Hello there, I hope you are all doing well today. Welcome to another episode of feezo complaining about things. So some of you may know about this. I've talked about it a little bit on the Lodge podcast, which is mine and Coleman's podcast we do every week. And I've maybe briefly mentioned it in a couple of other videos. I didn't really plan on making a full video about it, but I figured since it's kind of still really bothering me and being a problem for me, and since you guys are always so supportive and understanding of all the real life stuff that I go through, I figured it was probably a good idea to make a video talking about it. And also it kind of does involve you guys as well because it pertains to my ability to make music and make videos and all that kind of stuff. Cutting right to the chase here, what's going on? This ear, my right ear, has been having a problem for the past like 2 months now. It feels and sounds like there is water stuck in my ear. Like, you know when you go swimming and you get the water clogged in your ear, whatever? That's the sensation that I have in my ear pretty much at all times. So my ear feels like it's full of water, and also my hearing is really bad. Like I almost can't even really hear out of this ear at all. It basically sounds like as if you were to cover your ear with the palm of your hand. Like me doing that right now made essentially no difference in the sound that I was hearing out of this ear. It's also just really annoying because everything that I'm hearing is like echoed as well, because it's like echoing, reverberating through the fluid that's in there. This ear is also just really sensitive to noises now, so any sort of loud sounds or like high-pitched sounds or whatever kind of bother it, if it's able to hear the sounds at all. Oh yeah, and then there's also an extremely loud, constant ringing in this ear as well. Just, you know, cherry on the top, icing on the cake there, because that is just actually driving me insane having to hear that all the time. A good thing though is that I haven't really had any pain in the ear. Just at certain times briefly there's been some pain, but like nothing crazy. So yeah, that is the gist of what I'm currently dealing with and what I've been dealing with for the last 2 months since like the end of February. I'm gonna try to give you a somewhat accurate example of how it sounds for me in this ear. This right here is just regular normal ear hearing that I hear in my left ear, and this is kind of an approximation of what I am constantly hearing in my right ear. So yeah, I'm sure you can imagine how annoying it is to have that constantly going on. So not only has that been going on, but also the process of dealing with the whole thing has been a hassle as well. So it started near the end of February when I was working on my album and album video and everything. All day today, I have been dealing with this earache. I think I got like wax kind of clogged in my ear. And like I said in that little clip, I thought it was just like earwax was clogged in my ear or something. That made the most sense to me. At the time, I didn't really think anything of it or think it was much of a big deal, mostly because also the symptoms weren't really that extreme. My ear was a little bit echoey and the hearing was a little bit worse, but it wasn't anything crazy that was like able to stop me from making music and everything. Well, I thought it would just kind of fix itself after a while, but evidently it did not fix itself. So I started taking a bunch of like ear drops, like the little homeopathic ones, and like ear pain, earache drops, and all that kind of stuff. But still at this time, it was still pretty mild. Like the symptoms weren't as extreme as I even knew they could get. And so my mom had sent me a few different things, like some supplements and things to take to try to help it. One of the things she sent was these earwax removal drops, and I put them in my ear, and maybe I just left them in for too long or something like that. But when I got up, the ear was completely clogged. Like the sound of water being fully stuck up in your ear, can't really hear anything at all, completely watery sounding. And so naturally I was like, okay, that's not good. We need to figure this out. So for about 2 hours, I tried everything under the sun to try to get it to unclog the water, but absolutely nothing was working, and it was bad enough to the point where I was like, I can't actually work on anything because I can't hear out of this ear. So I had to just bite the bullet and go to an urgent care, which I ended up calling like 7 different urgent cares and seeing which one was the cheapest, which still charged me $90 only for the visit. I go into this urgent care place, the lady looks in my ear with a little tool and basically says, yep, you got fluid trapped behind your ear. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not good. How exactly does that happen? And she was like, oh, well, I don't know, like sometimes changes in pressure or whatever, just different things can cause it. Okay, so basically we have no idea why it happened. My assumption going into it was, okay, I probably just have an ear infection and I just need antibiotics for the ear infection. But the lady looked at my ear and then told me it was not infected. So she said, okay, what I'm gonna do is prescribe you a steroid, and I'm gonna have you take a nasal spray, like allergy nasal spray, and just take like Claritin, some allergy medication. So I went and paid $100 for this lady to tell me to take allergy meds. But either way, I did what she said. I took the steroid and the allergy meds and all that kind of stuff, and it kind of got better. Like it fixed itself after a couple days, but that lasted for essentially like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so. And then it came back even worse than it was before. So now, instead of just being like the mild symptoms that I had before, it was full-blown couldn't hear out of the ear, completely filled with water kind of feeling. And it was so incredibly hard to work on anything because I would put headphones on and I would just be hearing like this. This is the only sound that I was hearing out of my headphones. But I was able to take a round of antibiotics, and thankfully after like 2 or 3 days of taking those, the ear actually started to feel a lot better. So I finished the antibiotics and I thought I was in the clear. I thought everything was all good. And then maybe like about a week and a half ago, I started noticing the symptoms slowly coming back. Just kind of this weird echoey sound when I eat or brush my teeth or whatever. A little bit of ringing going on. Just all of those symptoms intensified until it reached the same exact horrible point that it was before. So that brings us back up to speed, back to present day, where I am now currently dealing with the symptoms once more, and it is very frustrating and upsetting. However, good news. I have another round of antibiotics. This time it's a stronger one, so hopefully this should knock the infection right out of my ear hole. So those are all of the facts of the situation laid out for you. The likely explanation in my mind is that when I went into the urgent care, my ear was most likely infected, or potentially got infected like a day or two after I left the urgent care. That's possible as well. But either way, I'm pretty sure the fact of the matter is that it was infected and needed to be treated for an infection, but the urgent care that I went to just kind of didn't really know what they were doing. My only guess as to why it came back this third time is that maybe I just didn't take a long enough round of antibiotics the first time around. So yeah, that is my hypothesis as to why this thing keeps rearing its ugly head. I just am really hoping, fingers crossed, that this is the last round of antibiotics that I need to take, and it should knock this thing out of my system. Hopefully forever, and I never have to deal with it ever again. Also, mind you, I am no ear expert or doctor guy or anything like that, so if you have any ideas as to what's going on or like ways that you think I could help, fix this, that'd be greatly appreciated. The internet's great for that because everybody has their own experiences and information and stuff that they can share. So yeah, I don't really think I need to explain to you guys why this sucks, because obviously it would suck for anybody. But it's kind of just extra suck for me because I rely on my ears so heavily for everything I do. It's kind of like being a runner, like running track or something, and then they're like, okay, we're just actually gonna take off one of your legs. You're gonna have to run with one leg. It also just sucks for daily life because you can't really like have a conversation with people as well. Everything that you're hearing is like kind of overstimulating because your brain is working twice as hard to like process the information you're hearing. It's just super discouraging when you have this persistent thing that just doesn't seem to be getting better at all. Like no matter what you do, no matter how many eardrops you put in your ear or supplements you take or how healthy you are or any of that stuff, the issue just still persists and it doesn't seem like it's gonna go away. I strive so hard to just be like a healthy person in general. I eat super clean and exercise every day, drink a bunch of water and all those things you're supposed to do. And then still stuff like this happens and it's just so frustrating because it's like, what can I do differently here? How can I prevent this? Having something like this happen really makes you take for granted your hearing and how important it truly is. Not even just for making music, because obviously that's the first thing that I think about, but just for all of the small little things that you need your hearing for every day. You know, when you're sick, you have a really bad cold and you would just give anything to be able to drink a glass of water without having a pain in your throat. You'd give anything to be able to breathe out of your nose properly again because your nose is so clogged, or just be able to like get up and walk around without getting winded. That's also exactly how I felt for the last 2 months. Like I would give anything to just have normal hearing again. And the times in between when I felt like the symptoms are getting better, they'd been such a relief and my mood was lifted so immensely. But also having that feeling of relief makes it so much more devastating when the symptoms actually come back, because now this third time when I'm dealing with it again, I'm like, when is this going to end? This is horrible. But anyways, when anything like this happens, my first thought is like, can I keep making music? That's the main thing. Like, can I keep making music? Can I keep making videos? And when I was really struggling with the ear thing the second time around, I was kind of just really thinking about the whole thing and the whole concept of hearing pretty deeply. And it kind of reminded me that there is truly nothing that is ever going to stop me from doing the stuff that I love to do. God forbid if I were to go completely deaf in one ear, I would absolutely still be making music without a doubt. Everything I make would be in mono, but that would be okay. I would find a way somehow. So regardless of pretty much anything that's going on with me at any point in time, you can count on the fact that I am never going to stop doing what I do. Yeah, there definitely might be times when it's hard for me to get uploads out, like it might be hard for me to make YouTube videos or make shorts or whatever, but I can promise you that I don't ever plan on quitting doing this. I'll be making music and making videos until I'm 85 years old and walking with a cane. So strap in, because you guys are in for a long journey here with me. Anyways, I think that's pretty much going to do it. I think I've covered all the bases here of this situation. I'll try to keep you guys updated with this whole situation and make sure to let you know if there's any new developments or if it gets better or if it gets worse. Hopefully not that. But if you've watched this whole thing all the way through, you really don't understand how much I appreciate you just being there for me, being supportive, watching the videos, everything you guys do all the time that you probably don't even realize how much it means to me. Thank you guys for always just sticking with me on this journey, whether it's ups and downs, goods or bads or whatever. Going through low points in the journey is really important, because if you don't go through those, then you're really not able to appreciate the highs, you know, the ups of the journey when they happen. So yeah, thank you for listening to me vent and ramble for however long this video is. I really appreciate you guys. I love you all, and I will see you in the next one.